Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. I mean, we might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she's never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh! Oh, God.
Damn it, AD.
I think you just need to find a gentle.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have been required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive part, whether he can issue The president's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would
can't?
Be a gross abuse
Oh,
of the presidential
it's a
pardon authority.
gross abuse. A presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, Jamie Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, Jamie Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt. Or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
Jimmy
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he get a
about
pardon
this.
also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that
the
committee?
seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. Are you going to condemn that pardon?
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people, commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One who, in fact, one drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold them.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators linking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Diablo, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
At the end of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Hey, everybody. All right, hey, here we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where, I am thinking about love and peace and joy and all kinds of stuff. I don't know why, but actually I do. So I forgot to tell you, this weekend we had our concert. This choir that I'm in. I'm in a community choir, the Bloomington Chorale in Bloomington, Minnesota. And one of the songs we sang was a choral arrangement of Caravan of Love. Now, I had never heard this song before, but it was a song from 1985 by the Isley Brothers. And it's our director of the choir just loves the song, and she even wants it sung at her funeral. And I was like, how is there a song from 1985 that I didn't know? No, not Golden Corral. What are you talking about? No. The Bloomington Chorale, Chorale, a choir. And I was like, dude, I'd never heard this song in 1985, and apparently it had some airplay, but maybe it wasn't on MTV or something, because I'd never heard it. Everybody, or what is it? Every woman, every man, join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up, stand up. And I'm like, where is this song? I've never heard it. And I know other Isley Brothers songs, but that was weird. Anyway, why I brought that up, I don't know. Maybe because I was thinking about love and faith and happiness and charity and all that shit. And all that shit. Anyway, how y'all doing? Happy Tuesday, the 20th of May, 2025. Now, I just noticed as I was going through some trending topics on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, I was like, why are people putting 520? I know why people do 420. Is 520 significant? It was trending. Maybe it's just because it's the date, but I just thought that was weird. So I don't know why. Anyway, let's get it going, because I got a bunch of stuff to talk about, obviously, because I opened a bunch of articles today. It's been a while. Caravan of Love is a sex reference. No, it's not. It's a song about, like, what are the words? Everybody, like, I'm your brother, don't you know? We're living in a world of peace. Stuff like that. It's kind of it's funny, because in the 80s there weren't a lot of protests about things, but it kind of had the protest vibe to it. The words to the song, and then everyone get on the Caravan of Love, basically saying we can solve our world problems with love, but I don't know. Anyway, all right, yeah, similar to Love Train. Similar lyrics to Love Train. In fact, here, let's do this. I can't remember. I can't think of the lyrics because I'm carrying a lot of Caravan of Love, Isley Brothers. Here's this. And what bothered me is I didn't know the song, because this is 1985. 1985, right in the middle of my years where I'm constantly listening to music, Let's see. Well, holy shit. Why isn't there any more information on this? Good Lord. I just wanted to see the lyrics. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is fluff that I didn't even plan on talking about, so fuck it. All right. What was the Isley Brothers known for? Love making music. Well, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, they had the Isley Brothers were around for a long time. They started in the 60s, and then the younger ones kind of kept the band going into the 80s. Not in the early years they weren't. They were more like 60s rhythm blues harmonies type stuff. Anyway, let's get to the show because there's a lot to talk about. First, let's say hi to everybody, though. First in the chat, it was close, Tyre. You were close, but no bell. The first in the chat was Mr. Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell as is often normal. Tyre, you were close. The Pope, Tyrannius III, the Blessed Lich is here. Good morning, sir. Also, good morning, too. Tyler F. is in the house early. Renee Mayette, yo to you too. Willie is in the chat. Green Badger Outdoors, Resolute Germ. JB's here. Aaron Meredith, Somnambul Nation. My favorite Canadian Jaeger Pony. I said JB already. Who am I missing? Lord Stanhope, good morning. Green Badger Outdoors, I think I said. Rick Ashbringer, what's up? Did I say Green Badger Outdoors? I did. Rick Ashbringer, what up? People coming in slowly but surely. Hit the like button, share, and all that stuff. While the end, the pinned tweet is up, or the tweet that's pinned or whatever. That my tweet. Respond to the tweet. That's all I'm trying to say. It's easy for me to say, but not so much. Thanks to people who've already shared the show, which include the following. Let's start down here. There we go. We got, there we go. Green Badger Outdoors with the Let's Go, replying to the tweet of the show. Tyre Alexander with the daily woo from Ric Flair. Thank you. Somnambul Nation tweeting out the show by yourself. I like this one. Let's go, Kit. Isn't that cute? The kitty driving a car. I love kitties. I hate cats. I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person. But I don't hate. Okay. Let me rephrase that for all you cat people. I don't hate cats. I just prefer dogs. Now, this one's wild. Thank you, Somnambul Nation. Well, it's Tuesday, so intense choir music as I take a dark gothic piss. What the hell is this? Look at this urinal. This is wild. That's disturbing. And with the mirrors. What's with the mirrors? Is that so you can see your own penis? I don't get it. Anyway, thank you, Somnambul Nation, for that scourge. Also, thanks to the people who retweeted the show, my tweet, Somnambul Nation, Green Badger Outdoors, Tyre Alexander, and Resolute Germ. By the way, Resolute Germ threw up. Now, there's another wrestler that I don't know because it's kind of past the time when I paid attention to wrestling a lot, but you can tell me who that is. And then I don't know what, that's just someone replying to another tweet of mine. So there you go. Thanks for people sharing the show. Share the damn show if you haven't done so already. I appreciate it. All right. Today's holidays. We got the holiday lit ticker. By the way, for those who, if you happen to come upon this show and you're like, what is this guy doing? What's all this fluff that he's doing? The reason I do this during a live show is because it takes a long time for notifications to go out sometimes and people don't get to the show. So I can do some fluff stuff while I'm waiting for more people to show up, and it gives them time. And plus, sometimes it's interesting, like things like this, the daily holidays. We talk about holidays. Now, sometimes I specifically feature one holiday, and sometimes I just go to the holiday calendar and see what the hell's going on here. What kind of things do they make into holidays? By the way, good morning, Anna Lynn and Bookworm Addict. All right, today's holidays are, as usual, kind of weird. Good Girl Syndrome Awareness Day. What the fuck is that? Okay, so here's what it says. Stand up to silent pressures on Good Girl Syndrome Awareness Day, where women reclaim their power, purpose, and true selves. God, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I know that this is gonna sound bad to the ladies who watch this show. Reclaim their power, purpose, and true selves. Spatulas and dishcloths. Oh, I'm gonna take a beating for that. I'm sorry. Just kidding. That was funny. National Rescue Dog Day. Oh, I'm gonna go pet my dog because we have a rescue dog. Show your love truly for furry friends. This National Rescue Dog Day. Adopt, donate, or volunteer with a local rescue organization. Yeah, all of our dogs that we've had so far in our married life have been rescue dogs. National Kiss a Frog Day. Don't go kissing frogs. That's nasty. They are not going to turn into a prince. Stop it. Oh, National Be a Millionaire Day. Now, I can do that one. National Be a Millionaire Day. Well, I can't do that one because I'm poor. But anyway, it's also Flower Day, which no, it's not Flower Day. The Hallmark holidays are Flower Days. Valentine's and Mother's Day. Those are flower days. National Pick Strawberries Day. Too early to pick strawberries where I live. In fact, we're just starting to get the little flowers on the strawberry patch in our front yard. World Bee Day. International Red Sneakers Day. National Streaming Day. Oh, God. They stop. They need to stop that. National Quiche Lorraine Day, though. That's a good one. I like Quiche Lorraine. National Band Directors Day. National Eli Day. If your name's Eli, happy to your day. All right, enough of that bullshit. Next is the celebrity birthday, and I had to pick this one because I am a fan of Mr. Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker, born in 81 years ago in Sheffield, and one of those artists that you go, I love listening to him, but it's almost as entertaining to watch him. What would I do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ear and I'll sing you a song. I try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with you. Okay, enough of that shit. Anyway, happy birthday, Joe Cocker, 81 years old today. Oh, would have been. He passed away in 2014, by the way. I should have said that. Or yeah, the letter. Oh man, put favorite. If you got a favorite Joe Cocker tune, put it in the chat. Mine might be "Leave Your Hat On" because that has significance between me and my wife. We met at a show, a group called Mick Sterling and the Stud Brothers, and that was one of their closing songs every weekend. They played every Sunday night at Bunker's Bar and Grill in Minneapolis. Great band with a monster freaking horn section, and they did definitely do a good job doing "Leave Your Hat On." Baby, take off your coat, doom 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 doom, real slow. Doom, 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 doom. Baby, take off your shoes. I'll take off your shoes, yeah. Anyway, the song from what movie was that? They used that song in 9.5 Weeks. They used that song in 9.5 Weeks when Kim Basinger was getting freaky with Richard Gere. So there you go. All right, moving on. Oh, did I even have that on the screen? There. Joe Cocker. There's some pictures of Joe Cocker in various stages of his career. Huge at Woodstock. That's where he did that version of "Goodbye, the Little Help of My Friends" for the first time. Mickey Rourke. No. Wasn't Mickey Rourke? Was it? Was it Mickey Rourke? Oh, it was Mickey Rourke, wasn't it? Sorry, it was Mickey Rourke and Kim Basinger. Who cares about Mickey Rourke? Kim Basinger was looking fine in that movie. All right, enough about Joe Cocker. Happy birthday, Joe Cocker. I want to show you some headlines today of different stuff because, oh my God, the liberals are mad today. Yeah, Richard Gere was with Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, but I was thinking, yeah, this is 9.5 Weeks, Mickey Rourke and Kim Basinger. Mickey Rourke's fucked up now. Have you seen Mickey Rourke lately? He had a little too much work done. Just saying. He looks like one of those, wolf people. Good morning, Special Can Acid on the honorable mention list of my favorite Canadians. Welcome to the show. All right, let's get into some headlines of just several articles that I have open. And I'm not going to get into too deep to them, but things that are happening in the world that are significant enough to have articles written about it. The Trump administration reportedly reaches a settlement with the family of Ashley Babbitt. Now, this is pissing off the liberals. Babbitt family last year filed a $30 million wrongful death lawsuit against the federal government. The Department of Justice is reportedly set to settle the lawsuit brought by the family of Ashley Babbitt, who was killed on January 6, 2021 in the U.S. Capitol. They're going to settle it for $5 million. This reminds me of when, who was the mayor when they settled with the Central Park Five? De Blasio. When de Blasio got the office in New York City because the Central Park Five were going to try and sue the city for wrongful arrest when in reality they did commit crimes that day. They were. There's a thing about how they were exonerated. Anyway, this reminds me of that because a lot of people are pissed off about that, especially the New York Police Department. Well, a lot of the liberals are really pissed off about this because they think. In fact, I was looking at. I won't put up the Daily Crassus team, but Ashley Babbitt was a domestic terrorist who tried to overthrow the government of the United States of America. Okay, that's the narrative, but that's not what those people were doing. Even they were not trying to overthrow the government of the United States of America. If they were, I don't know how they were planning on doing it with maybe a couple flagpoles and some, bacon grease or whatever they were carrying around, because they weren't going to take over the Capitol. They weren't going to take over the government of the United States by just going in there. They weren't going to burn it down because obviously it's still there. They didn't do half the shit that the BLM people did when they were rioting. This riot was a lot of it. Now, first of all, there's some assholes who got people in there and there's dubious shenanigans going on. But I don't know that this woman needed to be shot dead. And the cop who did it may have been a little overzealous. Anyway, attorneys for the Justice Department and Babbitt's family said that May 2nd hearing that they had agreed to settlement to end the case. According to the Washington Post, no deal was filed. The U.S. District Court Judge Anna Reyes ordered the parties to update the court about the agreement this coming Thursday, the 22nd of May. The settlement was reportedly an agreement by the Trump administration to pay Babbitt's family $5 million. Babbitt was fatally shot by a police officer on January 6th after entering the U.S. Capitol. And I got to be honest. I do have some mixed feelings about it. Of course, that officer probably shouldn't have shot. He was not in imminent danger. There was no one was in imminent danger at the time for him to shoot. Plus, there are other officers behind him or behind Babbitt as he shot at her. My other thought at the time, though, would that have been his duty to fire at someone who's trying to break into a restricted area? It's kind of one of those things where you go, yeah, you don't want her dead. Aren't all the Central Park 5 dead? No, they are not. In fact, one of them is running for city council. It's embarrassing. But anyway, that was someone asked me about the Central Park 5. She kind of, the danger of storming the Capitol is Capitol Police they have guns and it's a possibility you're going to get shot. And if you breach the White House, you breach Congress, you breach restricted areas, that's kind of part of that's kind of a feature, not a bug. So I in some ways, while I feel bad for Ashley Babbitt and her family, and I think that the cop probably fired prematurely, on the other hand, that's a possibility if you break into a government building like that. So I don't know. My mixed feelings. What do you guys think in the chat? Tell me what you think about that. All right. So anyway, and there's a little video of Tom Fitton talking about that in Judicial Watch. Have I not had any of this on the screen the whole time? Anyway, so anyway, her family will get at least some solace in the form of $5 million. All right, moving on. Hillary Clinton decided to open her mouth this weekend. And I got to tell you, I saw this clip and I was thinking to myself, when is Hillary Clinton just going to go away? Listen to this. So there was a discussion about if there's ever going to be a woman president. And this, listen how she smears Republican women in this. This is unbelievable. Listen to this shit.
What advice do you have for the first female president of the United States? Well,
here, when she asked her that question, before I let you hear her answer, all I can think is, thank God it wasn't you. Yeah, you lost. There. That's for Hillary Clinton losing. And thank God this woman will never be president. But anyway, let's hear her answer. Let's hear her answer. Don't alienate half the country when you run. Yeah, that's a good part of it too. Anyway, listen to this answer though. This is embarrassing.
First of all, don't be a handmaiden to the patriarchy.
What the fuck does that even mean? What the actual fuck does that even mean? But let me let you finish.
Which kind of eliminates every woman on the other side of the aisle.
Really?
Except for very few.
Really? So the women who are Republicans who are on the Republican women in office are handmaidens to the other side? Does she even know what she's talking? Because I know she's talking about like the Handmaid's Tale, where they just all the women are just incubators and shit. Really? Have you seen some of the women in Congress? Would you call Elise Stefanik a handmaiden to the patriarchy? Fuck you. How about this is a chick from South Carolina, or the one from Montana, or not, the one who took over Liz Cheney's spot. That woman's tough as hell. This is crazy.
Lisa Murkowski.
Liz Cheney.
Wait,
eliminates every woman on the other side of the aisle, except for very few.
Oh,
Lisa Murkowski.
Murkowski. Oh,
yeah.
Murkowski. Oh, because she's kind of a little more rhino-ish. Sometimes he's agree with your sorry ass.
There's a few. Look, first we have to get there, and it is.
Thank God you'll never
so
be
much
there.
Harder than it should be. So
why?
No,
for you. Okay, I don't want to hear her voice anymore. We're not going to play the rest of it. Anyway, there's a whole article about it in the Legal Insurrection here. You can read that shit yourself. Wait, what did she say? Oh. Okay, anyway, there's more on it, but moving on. Speaking of Hillary Clinton too. So it just apropos of this that someone who used to work for Bill Clinton had some thoughts about Hillary Clinton. A former military aide to President Bill Clinton has alleged that Hillary Clinton was so feared during her time as First Lady that White House staff avoided her at all costs. Buzz Patterson, who served as a senior military aide from 1996 to 1998, made the claims in a series of posts on X, formerly known as Twitter, describing Hillary Clinton as, now, evil, vindictive, profane, meaning she swore a lot, and a bitch. Yeah! Patterson, who carried the nuclear football for the president, stated that the atmosphere in the White House shifted dramatically based on Hillary Clinton's presence. We used to say that when Hillary was gone, it was a frat party. No shit, Bill Clinton, come on. When she was home, it was Schindler's List. Oh, shit. All right. He wrote in a post that garnered millions of views. He claimed that Hillary Clinton was the most intimidating figure in the administration, and she wasn't even part of the administration. Even more so than their husband, Patterson recalling being warned by his predecessors, you can get away with pissing off Bill, but if you make her mad, she'll rip your heart out. According to Patterson, the First Lady instructed staff to avoid interacting with her, leading to scenes of White House employees scrambling to stay out of her line of sight. Many a time, I'd see mature professional adults scurrying into the office doorways to escape Hillary's line of sight. He recounted likening her demeanor to that of a Nazi schoolmarm. Oh my God! There you go. So anyway, yeah. Does that surprise anybody that Hillary may have been a B word? Hello, Lewis, and hello, Black Hebrew Israelite. That's right. A couple days in a row. I love it. Who else did Hillary Clinton get suicided? Apparently anyone who got in her line of sight. So anyway, is that a shocker to anybody? Not me. All right, moving on. Daily Caller, absolutely sickening. Trump DHS unloads on Tim Walz. So Tim Walz decided that it would be a good day to compare ICE agents to a Gestapo. These motherfuckers can't stop using Nazi rhetoric. The Department of Homeland Security slammed Democratic Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for comparing a federal immigration agents to the secret police of Nazi Germany while speaking during a Saturday commencement address at the... Did you see that commencement address? Anyone see that? Tim Walz. He did that at a commencement address at the University of Minnesota. Really just real classy there, Tim. Making, how many of those students you think you're a shithead? Anyway, listen. During a commencement address, I'll put a link to that, at the University of Minnesota Law School, Walz referred to Immigration Customs Enforcement, aka ICE agents, as President Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo. Now, as if there were not ICE agents during the Obama administration, during the Biden administration, during the Clinton, Bush 2, Bush 1, whatever. What? Accusing the agency of disappearing people with no due process. By the way, do these motherfuckers realize that due process does not mean a hearing? That's not what it means. Due process means you follow the law that are written as the Congress has written them. So let's take some of these expedited removals, deportations, right? You realize that the due process for an illegal alien who's been here less than 2 years, expedited removal, doesn't mean you get a hearing. It means you go home. And that's how it's written into the law, passed by Congress, and signed by a former president. So I'm just like, what are you talking about, due process? But anyway, Keith Van, welcome to the show. May we just automatically and naturally be the healer and protector for those we love, and automatically and naturally be the swiftest wolf to those who mean them harm in an ever-increasing way. Absolutely. That's a nice sentiment, and welcome to the show. All right, so anyway, while speaking on this during a Sunday commencement address at the University of Minnesota Law School, okay, I already read that part, and he called the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, that oversees ICE, called the governor's comments absolutely sickening and wrong. So here's what they posted on X. Oh, here's listen to Walz. Listen to this dipshit. Oh, good Lord. Come on. Faster. Here's what he said. Maybe.
Gestapo is Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo. Gestapo is scooping folks up off the street.
Wait, did he say Gestapo? That sounds like he's talking about cold tomato soup. What the hell? Let me hear this again.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is...
Oh, my God. He said Gestapo or Gestapo, that whatever the fuck he said. He meant this Gestapo.
Scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a...
Foreign torture dungeons? What are you talking about? Vast majority of them were just being sent to their home countries. Now, granted, the gang members from Tren de Agua and MS-13 are being sent to prison, but it's not a torture dungeon. They're not torturing those prisoners in El Salvador. They have them on a very tight leash, though. Anyway.
Defense. Not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye.
Why?
Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. To be clear,
sent home.
There's no way for us to know whether they were actually criminals or not.
It doesn't matter. No, wait. Yes, we do. There is a way to know. And there's a way to know is whether or not they crossed the border illegally. If they cross the border illegally, then they are technically a criminal who are sent to their home country or wherever else they can send them. Anyway, so that was the bullshit he said. So here's what the Homeland Security site said. Here we go. Why did that do? Here we go. Okay, that didn't work. What the hell? What's going on here? Let's try it again. I want to read the whole post for you. There we go. It is absolutely sickening to compare ICE law enforcement agents to the Gestapo. Attacks and demonization of ICE and our partners is wrong. ICE officers are now facing a 413% increase in assaults. Our message is clear. Do not come to this country illegally. If you do, we will arrest your ass and deport you, and you will never return. That little never return line is kind of ominous, but you know. All right. So there you go. That's what that's about. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, the first sponsor of the day. Via YouTube Super Chat. You can do the Super Chats, or you can do Streamlabs, which is more efficient, but I like Super Chats too. Black Hebrew Israelite, welcome again. And there you go.
That's right.
Says, I'm back after serving time for cracker slaps. Okay, there you go.
That's right.
You got to stop doing them cracker slaps because, you know, them crackers, that does not make them happy. All right. In fact, here's the article on Tim Wall suggesting ICE is a modern day Gestapo in a commencement speech. Why? How does that inspire anybody? How does, granted, it is law school, but the idea that some of the people are not getting due process, maybe you just don't understand what the due process is. Due process does not always mean a hearing. Often it just means you have to follow the law, and with immigration, you can be deported expeditiously if you cross our borders illegally and you're caught. Within 2 years, in fact. That is the due process. You get sent somewhere else, anywhere but here. Anyway, all right. Morning, dear and Root. How you doing? All right, slapping this ass. What? What was that? Where do you, Renee? What's going on? It's Minnesota. He's speaking to activists. I'm in Minnesota, woman. Anyway, all right, moving on. Supreme Court allows Trump to strip protections from some Venezuelans. Deportations are imminent. The Trump administration got a victory here. The Supreme Court on Monday allowed the Trump administration to strip legal protections from 350,000 not just Venezuelans, because they also, I think, Haiti and there was a couple others, 2 countries where the Biden administration gave them a special, like legal protection, like from not being deported. And the Supreme Court said that, well, if the Biden administration can do that with an executive order, the Trump administration can undo it with an executive order, and it's within their purview to deport people. So anyway, the court order, with only one noted dissent from Ketanji Brown Jackson. I always get that wrong. I always want to sing, I say Jackson Brown, running low, running on empty, but that's not it. Anyway, puts on hold a ruling from a federal judge in San Francisco that kept in place temporary protected status for the Venezuelans that would have otherwise expired last month. And why, but I also don't get too, if the temporary protected status expired last month, why are we even talking about this? Oh, because a couple days before Joe Biden left office, he extended it. And y'all know why I'm going he, because we don't know who he was, because we don't know who was running the White House at the time. Anyway, the status allows people already in the United States to live and work legally because their native countries are deemed unsafe for return due to natural disaster or civil strife. And the Supreme Court said, no, that's up to the executive branch to determine that, unless, Congress tries to pass a law, and then they'd have to get it signed by the president, who'd probably veto it anyway. So, sorry, Charlie, I don't have it. Here, let's do another one of these. There you go. That's for the Venezuelans. Legal insurrection. California U.S. attorney is cracking down on the state sanctuary laws. This is kind of interesting. So I'll just go to Bill Mulligan's tweet here about this. The article's here too, but Bill Mulligan, or whatever his name from Fox News, exclusive. This is in California. Remember, California, sanctuary states, cities, sanctuary cities, and all that bullshit. Bill Mulligan says, we witnessed an incredibly rare sight in the sanctuary city of Los Angeles, as Twin Towers jail transferred an illegal alien inmate to ICE custody. Is he going to get in trouble? Not because sanctuary policies have changed, but because the jail is being forced to cooperate with ICE as part of a new federal operation designed to neutralize California's sanctuary state law. The new Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in Los Angeles, Esili is his name, launched Operation Guardian Angel last week and is already forcing sanctuary jails to make transfers to ICE. Now, how does it work? Asili has organized a federal task force made up of ICE, FBI, HSI, DEA, and ATF working out of an office in downtown Los Angeles. Every single day, they are now scanning criminal databases with fingerprints and identifying illegal aliens in jail throughout Southern California who have been previously deported from the United States. If they've come back to the United States after a deportation, they've committed a federal felony under 8 U.S.C. 1326 known as illegal reentry. So now it's a felony. It's a crime, criminal. As soon as the task force IDs an alien booked into a local jail who has a previous deportation, they seek a federal criminal warrant on them for felony reentry signed off on by a federal judge. Unlike an administrative ICE warrant or ICE detainer request, these criminal judicial warrants for 8 U.S.C. 1326 cannot be ignored by sanctuary jurisdictions. And California sanctuary state law cannot shield aliens from these criminal warrants. Instead of releasing the alien inmates and ignoring ICE detainers, jails must hand the aliens over to the feds regardless of sanctuary policy. Way to go to use the law to tell these motherfuckers to fuck this sanctuary city bullshit. Anyway, sorry, I got a little heated there. With this operation, we're going to be neutralizing California sanctuary state policies. Sally told me we're going to flood the system with warrants for criminal illegal immigrants who are in county jails. They can ignore a detainer, but they cannot ignore a criminal arrest warrant. They have no choice. They will comply. And if they don't, if they interfere with our ability to arrest a federal felon, they can expect to face consequences for that. So you know what's happening now. So yeah, that's a big damn deal. And I'm not going to play this video, but this is kind of, it probably says all the same shit. So yeah, and a lot of these illegal aliens have been deported before. And so now if they re-enter the country, it's a felony. They cannot ignore a federal criminal warrant. So good. That's a good deal. Now, which brings me to, I'm going to skip over, where is this? One of the trending topics today is LaMonica Iverson. She's the congresswoman who was one of the people pushing at that ICE facility, detention center, whatever. What state was that? Was that in Maryland? No, in New Jersey. I'm sorry, in New Jersey. Well, speaking of which, using law to the law's extent, LaMonica Iverson is being charged with assault, impeding law enforcement officials, and impeding law enforcement officials at that ICE detention center in New Jersey. Representative LaMonica McIver was charged with assaulting, resisting, and impeding law enforcement officers during a riot at Delaney Hall ICE detention facility in Newark, New Jersey. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and acting U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, Alina Haba, revealed that McIver was being charged. Noem noted that no one is above the law. Yes! That was their favorite line for a few years, right, Democrats? Right? So anyway, let's see. The announcement of the charges against McIver come after Representatives McIver, Bonnie Watson-Coleman, and Robert Menendez and Newark Mayor Raz Baraka showed up at Delaney Hall to conduct federal oversight of the facility and allegedly stormed and trespassed. Baraka ended up being arrested for alleged criminal trespass. Quote, after a thorough review of the video footage of Delaney Hall and a full investigation from HSI, the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, has made the determination to charge Congresswoman LaMonica McIver for assaulting, resisting, and impeding law enforcement officers. Noem wrote in a post on X, no one is above the law. If any person, regardless of political party, influence, or status, assaults a law enforcement officer, as we witnessed Congresswoman McIver do, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So you can imagine how many feathers are being ruffled by that announcement. McIver herself posted this on X, my statement of the charges filed against me. So here's McIver's response to this. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, New Jersey 10, released the following statement responding to charges brought against her. Quote, Earlier this month, I joined my colleagues to inspect the treatment of ICE detainees at Delaney Hall. Why am I doing this so what's the crazy lady from Compton? Why am I doing this in Maxine Waters' voice? Never mind. I'm not going to do that. Hello, K-Shaw. What up, K-Shaw? What up, Shrapnel? What's up? Earlier this month, I joined my colleagues to inspect the treatment of ICE detainees at Delaney Hall in my district. We were fulfilling our lawful oversight responsibility. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. The lawful oversight responsibilities, if you did it in a proper manner, that'd be great, but that's not what you did. You came in demanding to be let in and started pushing people around. We were fulfilling our lawful oversight responsibilities as members of Congress have done many times before, and our visit should have been peaceful and short. Instead, ICE agents created an unnecessary and unsafe confrontation when they chose to arrest Mayor Baraka. The charges against me are purely political. They mischaracterize and distort my actions and are meant to criminalize and deter legislative oversight. No, there's a proper way to get a request to go into a facility. The administration will never stop me from working for the people in our district and standing up for what is right. I am thankful for the outpouring of support I have received, and I look forward to the truth being laid out clearly in court. Yeah, you can't, and I know they use the term body slam, which I don't know. You see, whenever I think body slam, again, I said this before, I think of, Hulk Hogan slamming King Kong Bundy or Andre the Giant or something. But that's not what it was. But anyway, but she was like, she was given, she was like shoulder blocking this guy. And it's like, lady, you can't do that. That is assault. I mean, and it's clear as day and it's on video. Good morning, Miss Wild Wolf. How you doing? So anyway, FTG to Congresswoman McIver. Good luck. I hope, hope you get fined and some kind of slap on the wrist and a censure in the Congress, whatever. All right, let's see. Where are we at? I did that one already. Oh, here, let's go to this one. Now, this is something that's interesting, too. Remember, a lot of these states were putting in these electric vehicle mandates, like, California's got one by 2035. You can't sell, internal combustion engines. And a lot of states have copied that. Well, now we have a state that has said, well, in the immortal words of Elvis Presley, fuck it. Vermont pulls the plug on its electrical vehicle mandate. In the summer of 2024, I reported the state of Connecticut adopted to forego adopting California-style electrical vehicle mandates. Additionally, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin put the brakes on the EV mandate also at the end of that year. Just last month, Maryland's governor delayed its sad attempt to be the East Coast California via a similar mandate. Now, Vermont Governor Phil Scott issued an executive order halting the enforcement of the state's electric vehicle sales mandate, which had required that 35% of all vehicles delivered to Vermont dealerships be zero emissions starting with the 2026 model year. So they're going to, by next year, 35% of vehicles delivered to the state had to be electric vehicles. There's a little small problem with that, though. They weren't going to sell those cars because the electric car market's getting tanked right now. So they would have required dealerships to bring in 35% of their vehicles be electric vehicles for sale. But what if they just sat on the lot? That's stupid. Anyway, and plus now they all hate Tesla again, right? Tesla's like still dominant in the market. The pause affects passenger cars and medium to heavy duty trucks and continues a trend of progressive states following California into a progressive black hole of senseless energy policies. Vermont is one of 11 states, including New York, Maryland, Massachusetts, that have adopted California's zero-emission vehicle rules, which seek to end the sale of gasoline-only engines by 2035. California's rules require 35% of light-duty vehicles in the 2026 model year to be zero-emission models. Again, you can force them to put as many of those on the lot as you want, but people still would have to buy them. And there are people who just don't want that shit. They're a pain in the ass. Until, when they have an electric vehicle that has a 700-mile range and you can recharge it in 10 minutes, I'm there, baby. Maybe I'll think about it. But until then, no. I like to drive long distances. Anyway, Scott cited warnings from automakers that they could limit supply of gas-powered vehicles to dealers in the state because of the EV rules. It's clear we don't have anywhere near enough charging infrastructure and insufficient technological advances in heavy-duty vehicles to meet our current goals. So they're blaming it on the fact they don't have enough charging stations. Yeah, remember all those charging stations that the Biden administration put in the, what do they call it, the Inflation Reduction Act? And they still have only, I think they've maybe put up 7 charging stations and with their $43 billion that they allocated for it. Jesus, stupid shit. Anyway, so there you go. Vermont said, fuck it. So there you go. Next, this one's gonna have people. This is gonna have them mad too. Apparently, in Oklahoma, the public schools are going to have lessons on the 2020 election, including discrepancies using real data. And there's some people very upset. Gunfox, what up, man? Gunfox 61's in the house. Well, just Gunfox. The amazing administrator of the Discord server, which I just went to this morning and saw a couple articles in there that were good. I always hit that. How dare public school teachers introduce hard, indisputable facts and ask students to draw their own conclusions? Don't they know that public schools are institutions meant to be used for the proliferation of progressivism? The teachers, unions, and leftist activists have worked so hard to eliminate silly and outdated things like arithmetic, civics, rhetoric, replacing them with curricula like critical race theory, gender studies, and socialism. And now Oklahoma is undoing the entire structure they've spent decades on assembling. Yes. Under State Superintendent Ryan Walters, the state of Oklahoma is set to implement curricula that will encourage critical thinking. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Not only is that a problem in and of itself for leftist ideologues, but it's what he and other administrators are using to do so. The discrepancies of the 2020 election, which can get me banned from YouTube, I think. I don't know. Anyway, translation, the school systems will be pumping out thinkers, which means they'll be pumping out conservative voters. Oh, I remain convinced that you can't be a thinker and believe in leftism, but you can be intelligent or smart and be a leftist, but you can't actually be critically analyzing reality. So anyway, there's a story from The Hill. Anyway, you get it. You can read the rest of the article, but oh my, that's pissing off lefties far and wide. Let's see. Oh, remember that the $400 million jet that Trump is accepting as a gift to the United States of America from Qatar? Well, the smarmy prick from New York, Senator Chuck Schumer, has unveiled a bill to stop Trump from turning the Qatari jet into Air Force One. On Monday, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer proposed a legislation to discourage the Trump administration from receiving a roughly $400 million luxury aircraft known as the Flying Palace from Qatar and block money from being spent turning it into the next Air Force One. Oh, he's a buzzkill. Named the, quote, Presidential Airlift Security Act of 2025. The dumb names they have for these bills. The bill would block the Department of Defense from using funds allocated for fiscal year 2025 and 2026 to procure, modify, restore, or maintain aircraft previously owned by foreign governments or their representatives for presidential airlift purposes. Donald Trump has shown time and time again he will sell out the American people and the presidency if it means filling his own pockets, Schumer said in a statement. Not only would it take billions of taxpayer dollars to even attempt to retrofit and secure this plane, but there's absolutely no amount of modifications that can guarantee it will be secure. It is now on the Senate to prioritize our national security, protect Americans, and ensure that a foreign-owned plane never gets the call sign Air Force One. You know, a lot of us had that concern. It's like, well, you got a plane that you're getting from a Qatari government. How many little microphones and spyware and shit is in that thing? They would have to do a lot of that. But still, I still chuck with the bill. I don't know. I think they have enough analyzing equipment. They'd be able to fucking figure it out, don't you? So anyway, there's more about the story, but I don't need to read any more of that shit. I need to get to I need to get to that. I'll get to the main subject. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. But remember the Bud Light controversy? Well, there may be another one here. Dove, Dove, the beauty bar. They don't like to call it soap. They call it a beauty bar, right? Dove has replaced women with a gender-confused man advertising female hair products. And I really hope this goes the way of Bud Light. You'd think large corporations like Dove would learn a lesson from Bud Light and everything woke goes to hell. Instead, they apparently believe paving that same worn-out path will get them anywhere other than the retail ruin. In a commercial resurfaced by Libs of TikTok, Dove advertised their latest hair care products to female consumers by erasing women altogether. Excluding your consumer base in the name of inclusion doesn't seem like the smartest marketing strategy. So they have this human person thingy advertising for Dove Beauty Bar, which is seems like a lost cause here. Anyway, still they replaced what should have been a female model with a man pretending to be a woman. The ad opened on their gender-confused subject flipping his hair around awkwardly in a cringy attempt to appear like he's just one of the girls. Should we watch the ad? God, why am I doing this? He forgot to shave his mustache. Oh, Grippy Skippy. Good Lord. Why? Hi, Evan S. Hi, Selecta Boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, speaking of yeah, boy. All right, let me skip a couple of things here because I kind of want to get to the main topic. There's a lot of other stuff. But I wanted to talk about this little oversight issue. By the way, on that MacGyver thing, the term baseless is trending, saying that the charges are baseless. Remember this little ditty here with MacGyver? This is at the protest in New Jersey where they were pushing around Ice Age and shit. MacGyver is not MacGyver, not that she cannot she cannot modify the $400 million Qatari jet with a paperclip. This is her in the red here, and she's the one who's pushing the agents. She's shoving that guy. She's bumping. She strolled her button him right here. She did a little forearm shiver. That would be classic assault and battery. I'm not sure which is which. It's definitely battery because she put her hands on the agent and gave him a little forearm shiver. So anyway. All right, I want to talk about this picture in the thumbnail, or this the thumbnail over here, right behind my head over there. That, and this was going to talk about the Oversight Committee. So, I want to show you something that where is it? Oh shoot, where the hell is it? There it is. Here it is. This is a letter from the House Oversight Committee to the Comptroller General of the United States, U.S. Government Accountability Office. And I just want to read this because, by the way, Thomas Massie is also trending because he's getting a lot of shit because he's one of the Republicans who was against the big, beautiful bill, whatever, that's still going to have $2 trillion in deficits, which he's like, no. Can we get our shit in order? Moody's just downgraded the United States credit from the top AAA rating to the AA something A minus whatever fucking rating because of our debt. And so Massie's, you say, no, we need to cut more spending out of our current budget, which is, yes, I agree. That's what I voted for. That's what I voted for when I voted for Trump. That, you know, the idea of government efficiency start paring down the size of our government. Which brings me to this on some of the crazy shit that maybe that our government agencies, the unelected motherfuckers, that all those agencies that, Doge has been going through, what they're spending money on. And there's part of the problem is we don't always know what they're spending money on. So I want to go through this letter. This is the letter that I have highlighted in the thumbnail up here. This is to the Honorable Gene Dodaro, the Comptroller General of the United States of America. And I believe it's from who's it from? It's from it's from the Oversight Committee. Whoops. Let's put that back on the screen. There we go. All right. Dear Comptroller General Dodaro, for decades, the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, has uncovered persistent waste, fraud, and abuse in federal charge card programs. Okay? Because, a lot of these people, the bureaucrats or whatever, they get these charge cards that they're using to go out and buy shit for their bureau or whatever, their agency, the 435 freaking agencies. Despite repeated warnings, recent reports suggest many of these problems persist. A recent audit by the U.S. Department of Government Efficiency, aka DOGE, revealed the federal government maintains approximately 4.6 million active charge cards and accounts, which is astounding to me, because are there even 4.5 million federal employees? I'm sure there are, but just still, that sounds crazy. With spending totaling $40 billion in the last fiscal year alone. Now, that's a paltry amount compared to the entire size of the budget, but still, what are they charging? $40 million. These are government charge cards that, are in the hands of just, government employees. The recent GAO report have found that agencies consistently fail to use modern tools to analyze purchase card data to prevent waste and fraud, as recommended by the Office of Management and Budget. In a recent review, the GAO found that none of the Department of Defense purchase card program officials interviewed could provide examples of analyzing purchase card spending patterns to identify cost-saving opportunities. Now, that's, that's easy. Here, let me summarize. What the fuck are they spending money on? There, that should be a lot easier to explain. Now, this lack of oversight is further underscored by recent Department of Defense Office of Inspector General report, which found that 7,805 transactions at known high-risk merchants, that's in quotes, including casino ATMs and mobile application stores. The report also found that 3,246 purchases made at bars, lounges, discos, nightclubs, and tavern alcoholic drink merchants during holidays or major sporting events. We are skeptical these charges were for legitimate purposes or in the service of the Department of Defense's mission for which the cards were issued. Now, this is not the first report the Department of Defense Office of Inspector General has conducted in recent years, and the problems have not improved. This is because, as the Department of Defense OIG has found, the DoD officials have not effectively used policies, procedures, or anti-fraud systems such as the Visa IntelliLink Compliance Management System to effectively identify Department of Defense government travel charge card abuse and fraud. With tens of billions in taxpayer funds at stake each year, a comprehensive assessment is urgently needed to identify systemic risks, eliminate inefficiencies, and restore accountability to federal charge card programs. Meaning, what the fuck you doing over there? To better understand the scope of this issue and to inform potential reforms, we request that the GAO conduct a comprehensive review of the issuance and management of government purchased travel, fleet, and integrated charge cards and accounts across federal agencies subject to the Chief of Financial Officers Act of 1990. Specifically, we request that the GAO examine the following. 1. What criteria agencies use to determine which employees are issued charge cards? Because there's 4.5 million of them out there. The extent to which agencies have control in place to monitor the use of all charge cards and subsequently address any misuse, fraud, and redundant card issuance. Now, this just seems like a no-brainer, but apparently it's not. 3, agency compliance, training, and utilization of the General Services Administration Smart Pay 3, which is, I don't know what that is. 4, agency's implementation of OMB's memorandum M1321 and subsequent revisions. And 5, the frequency of agency's high-risk merchant category code transactions, including, and then they list all the transactions. Now, I'm curious if these are transactions that have actually been hit, they have hits on or not. But I would imagine if they're mentioning them, they might have charges under these categories. For example, dating and matchmaking services, online dating and social networking services, adult entertainment. Oh, yeah. Bail and bond payments, bail and bond legal services, gambling, state lottery, payday loans, blah, 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 blah. There's a whole list of these charges that I'm assuming they've already found some under these categories, and that's a no-no. Anyway, I'm not going to go through all of them. The extent to which agencies are limiting the type of businesses where charge account holders are permitted to make purchases by limiting the MCCs available to card and account holders, which means they haven't limited these particular, they have not yet limited these particular categories. I'm going to go through some more of these categories that they haven't limited yet. Okay, I said bail and bail bonds payments, bail bonds and legal services, gambling, state lottery, payday loans, and cryptocurrency, payday loans. Oh, that's 2 of those. Cannabis and marijuana products, e-cigarettes and baby products, babysitting, childcare services, jewelry and luxury goods, horoscopes and fortune telling, multi-level marketing and pyramid schemes, weight loss and diet products, massage, cruise lines, telemarketing of travel-related services, and vitamins, telegraph service, boat dealers, camper dealers, recreational and utility trailers, blah, blah. There's a whole bunch. There's a big list. So anyway, yeah. Then they want to ask how much agencies spend and charge. And how much agencies spend on charge card and late fees annually over the past 5 fiscal years? Because apparently they don't pay some of these bills in time. Guidance or policies regarding inactive cards and the number of cards that have remained inactive for over 12 months as of January 20th, 2025, and the policies in place for deactivating or reclaiming such cards. Identification of agencies with effective or efficient card management programs that could serve as models for broader government-wide improvement, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so I'm sorry. They have 4.5 million of these cards out there in the ether? Are you kidding me? What the hell is going on? And by the way, Massie, a lot of people are playing this clip by Massie talking to Cheryl Atkinson regarding him describing how Big Pharma and other interests donate to the parties who dole out the cash and plum committee assignments to cooperative members of Congress, et cetera, et cetera. He's not playing the game. This is one congressman who, now, and by the way, Trump is mad at him because, in fact, here's what Trump said about Massie regarding him kind of being a fly in the ointment.
Thomas Massie said that adds more deficit than Biden did, and this bill kind of... Because we have to fix the country. Do you think that Thomas Massie is correct in saying that this is adding Biden levels?
No, I don't think Thomas Massie understands government. I think he's a grandstander, frankly. He'll probably vote. We don't even talk to him much. I think he should be voted out of office.
No, please, God, no. We need the Thomas Massies of the world. We need the Rand Pauls, even if they're not always right. We need the fiscal hawks. We don't have enough of them right now. Basically, this big, beautiful bill is still spending money on shit we do not fucking need. I swear, if they would just find 24 people out in Congress that could write a bill where every department in the United States government had to lower their spending by 1 freaking %. That's what we need. We need to get the fiscal house in order. The deficit debt service is about to hit $1.4 trillion a year. $1.4 trillion a year just on the debt service. It's time to lower spending, cut the government down, and stop all the bullshit. And, someone said the dream team would be having after Trump, Trump's doing a lot of the right stuff. And I wish Doge would have a bigger sledgehammer and axe or chainsaw or fucking whatever. And, get that mindset started and then come in with someone else who's going to even do more. Get the fiscal house in order. Don't be like Minnesota. Of course, in my state, we had a $19 billion surplus. Governor Dick Walls has spent it and gone to a $6 billion deficit in 3 years. We need to do this the opposite of that. So anyway, Massie has an interview with Cheryl Atkinson. Let's do this 2-minute clip, and then we're going to finish for the day. I'll leave the links in here as I always do. Here's an example of his interview with Cheryl Atkinson, the former CBS journalist.
So pharmaceutical interests, apparently through their influence with members of Republican
They're talking about how, different lobbyists or whatever have an influence in Congress, and that's why we can't stop spending on certain things.
Of Congress were able to get Dr. Dave Weldon kicked out of consideration to head up the CDC. And the reasons given had to do with things he said that were perfectly true and accurate, but were misportrayed by many in the media who don't know better. Clearly haven't done their research. What do you make of that?
Well, I can speak to the influence of those companies on Congress and congressmen. There are lots of ways they influence, but not in ways that you think necessarily. The maximum PAC donation you can give to a member of a drug company could give to a member of Congress is $5,000. And that ostensibly that's from the employees of the drug company, not from the drug company itself.
Yeah, they'll claim that
the employees to donate into a pool, and then the lobbyists
donated.
get to dispense that money that comes from the employees of that company. The bigger way they have influence, I witnessed myself on the floor of the House one day when Paul Ryan was Speaker. He was like so on cloud nine that I think he forgot he was talking to me. And he had just landed like 6 figures. Maybe it was $150,000 or $200,000 donation from Eli Lilly to his super PAC. And he was talking about this on the floor of the House. That's where the real...
Yeah, yippee!
Like, congressmen aren't driving Ferrari.
Yippee! Yeah. So he gave $150,000 to his super PAC, which, basically supports him. I want the pharmaceutical companies to stop being able to donate. I know that you can't single out an industry, but you know what? I like the idea of going back to not having pharmaceutical companies be able to advertise so that all the TV news stations are highly influenced by their advertisers, which the pharmaceutical industry is the #1 advertiser on TV. especially when it comes to news programs. Get them the hell out of it. Besides, I don't want to ask my doctor, well, what do you think about, bardonephilin? The doctor look at you like, you've been watching TV, haven't you, motherfucker? Anyway.
Ari's up here because some drug company bought them one, right? And the most they can get is $5,000 from any one drug company. It's deeper than that. It's like this: the drug companies, most rank and file congressmen the drug companies don't care who's sitting in that seat.
They care about leadership.
They care who the speaker is.
Yep.
And the speaker decides which bills come to the floor. Yep. And so they focus all their money, for instance, on the speaker's PAC, and because they know he's going to be the gatekeeper.
So anyway,
so pharmaceutical interests.
Good article. There's
I
think Cheryl Atkinson has. In fact, I'll do a separate thread of Cheryl Atkinson with this entire thread of the interview. We'll put it in the links here. There we go. Yeah, here. This is the link here. She just put a transcript of it. Anyway, that's there. All right. My lack of watch says I'm out of time. So, hey, gang, thanks so much for joining me today. There's a lot more in the links, as the article's linked today. I had several things I didn't get to, which, it's par for the course. But there's just so much to talk about. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow. Just a reminder, I'm on Monday, I'm going to be gone for 16 days. So 16 days from Memorial Day until the 13th of June. So roughly 2 weeks plus. So, but I will do some stuff from where we are in Spain. We're going to be in Spain for a wedding and some other stuff. So, but just a reminder that there will be no live shows for a couple weeks there. So, all right, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow though. So please make sure you're here. If you're up in the morning, come join me for the Morning Night Live. Here are the links from the show today. Here are the links. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Tell your friends, oh shit, what did I just do there? Hang on, let me fix that. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors and welcome to our new viewer, Keith Van. Nice to have you here. Welcome. All right, that's it. Got to go. My name's PDawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.